Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Dragon Warrior 4 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Last episode, Cosmo and his companions finished venturing through the final cave and ended up at the final refuge. Basically a place where they can heal themselves up before challenging Necrosaro and his final minions. Even though you can save the game here, you can't start the game there. You start basically at the last place that you saved your game, so in our case we ended up at Endor. But it's okay, because you just easily warp to there with the return spell. So, while we're here in the underworld, we have to defeat 4 of Necrosaro's minions, and defeating each one will remove one of those sections of the dotted lines in front of his castle to allow us access to it. But you have to defeat all 4 to get access to it, so. It's my duty to guard these barriers. I won't let you break them. Come fight me if you dare. So I'm going to start in the southeast and work my way around counterclockwise. That's probably from like the easiest to the toughest. So, most of the time you're only fighting one monster. This one's an interesting one because you're fighting like 3 copies of this dragon. But even though you're fighting 3 instead of 1, this is probably the easiest. He's susceptible to a lot of status effects. Actually, he's the only one who's susceptible to the instant defeat spell, so if you bring Cristo along with you, you could have him cast the AI would cast the beat and defeat spell on these guys, and it could actually work. So, as you can see, now he's using some of her control spells, such as Sleep More there to put the enemies to sleep, so, yeah, there's 3 of these guys, but overall, even though all added up their hit points, probably just has as much, even less in some cases, than some of the initial guardians that you run into, so. But yeah, the worst thing these guys do is emit this scorching gas, but they all just seem to attack once, where the future bosses, they'll be attacking twice, and they can use like some really evil spells like Infirmos, Exploded, Blizzard. So, these guys, like I said, once you start taking 1 or 2 of them out, you know, it just becomes a standard easy battle, so. As you can see, we'll put them to sleep, so, helping out. And we'll just, like I said, finish this guy off, and then we'll head off to the northeast. The northeast and the southwest areas are interesting. All mankind's to be exterminated, according to Necrosaro. Necrosaro was extremely angry when he lost Rosa there. They are the only 2 of these towers that have treasure in them, but it's not really important treasure. You'll see it's not in, the southwest has the small metal in it, the northeast has the zombie mail, which is a cursed mail, which reduces your hit points every time you take a step. So it's at the end, and like an anti-Erdrick's armor. But even its defensive power ain't all that good. You have better defensive power with like the Metal Babel armor, or even the Sword Edge armor. So yeah, it's not really that good of an armor to give it to you so late in the game. Everybody has something better already. So, there are no monsters inside the individual towers or domains, because they're not all towers, where the boss monsters are, but there are some new enemies in the underworld here, including these guys, the Leaping Masks. They're annoying because they can, they're kind of weak, but they summon reinforcements, and they tend to like to summon reinforcements, so of course they balance them out by kind of making them weak, so yeah, 150 hit points, that's not too much compared to some of the other enemies that we're going to run across. So, their most annoying attack is when they exile themselves, and that like hurts like everybody in your party. So, but not the worst enemy that we encounter here. Probably the worst is these Guardian monsters that are like palette swaps with the Dragon Rider monsters. Like the Dragon Rider monsters, they can attack twice a turn and expel a gas breath. So, luckily though, those guys are susceptible to confusion, as are quite a few of the new enemies here, even the endgame enemies. So a lot of times in these battles, when those Bray will be using the Chaos spell to confuse the enemies, which is really good because that means that they're not going to target you. They'll target themselves or their buddies. And like I said, these guys can hit pretty hard, all the monsters here, so having them confused basically just removes them from battle in a sense. So, and sometimes they'll even remove themselves from battle, like this one ran away, the Wyvern Lord. So, unfortunately, that means you don't get experience or gold from him, but not so much the gold that matters, but the experience. So, I'm probably a little underleveled here. If I would have went searching for those the King medals that are available in the final part of the tower to get to the underworld here, I probably would have, been roughly at the right level, like around level 40, but I didn't want to, I'll do that grinding, off screen, whatchamacallit, and hunting for that monster, between episodes, so. Also between episodes, I'll end up using the stat boosting seeds that I got in the last cave. Here's that zombie mail. Like I said, it's like an anti-Erdrick's armor. You put it on, and it reduces your hit points every time you take a step. But it has no other special properties, like it doesn't reduce fire or dragon breath or anything like that, so not really all that important. It would have been better to get like earlier in the game, But so here's our second. This guy's actually second boss monster. He's actually like the right-hand man of Necrosaro. I'm impressed you reached here, Cosmo, but it's too late. Soon Necrosaro shall wake as our ruler. Only hatred shall remain in his soul. I shall demolish you. I'm the one who ordered the abduction of Rosa. Ha ha ha. And we learned that he's kind of like a schemer in the remake, and then they just came out with a new game, The Dark Prince, which is kind of a spin-off game of Dragon Quest that stars a younger Necrosaro. And in those games and the remake, you learn a little bit more about this guy. He's basically like a schemer. He's like the Starscream to Necrosaro's Megatron. Well, he's trying to actually become the ruler of evil. And he's hoping that Necrosaro and the heroes party basically defeat each other, and then he can come in and claim the scraps. And then use the secret of evolution on himself to become the big bad monster and the ruler of evil, which apparently he tries to do in the remake. In the remake, after this chapter, there's another chapter where you can find an item to revive Rosa, and you revive Rosa, and then you bring Rosa to Necrosaro, and she undoes the secret of evolution on him, and then he joins your party. And it turns out that this guy becomes the big bad, because he gets the secret of evolution and uses it on himself, and so there's like a few extra dungeons to do, but like I said, that's in the DS remake, and I don't have the DS remake or an ability to stream that, because you need a special device to capture on the DS, so. But it's not really like look. I looked at the DS remake, some other people playing it, like that Mega Man in G Guide that I was mentioning. I'll link to his at the end of my playthrough, so you can, if you're interested in the bonus episode, you can see it, or that bonus chapter. But it's kind of done in like a 3D, and you can like rotate the camera and stuff like that. And I don't know, I don't really like that. It kind of messes with my motion sickness. So I like the whole top-down, staring at everything so you can see stuff. Like in those ones, like you might not see like pots in the corner because the way the camera's oriented, you have to like rotate the camera around. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So I guess growing up in the 80s and playing, flat games where everything usually takes place on one screen, I'm just so used to that type of gaming, so. Which is why you only see really old games on my playthrough here. I think the only 3D game I ever played was the Dog Island, but that's kind of like a real like simplistic type game, so the 3D didn't really bother me for that one, so. But there we take that guy out. So even though once you get into the towers, you only can fight with the characters you have in the tower. Luckily, like characters not in the party will still gain experience. You can actually use their spells. So like I can use like Christo spells to heal up inside this tower. It's just that they don't take place in battle. You can't use the members command to switch characters out in battle. Speaking of the way that I have these party design, I basically have Cosmo, an attacker, so it could be Talon, Ragnar, or Alina, and then a black mage, either Bray or Mara, and then a white mage, Nara, or Christo. So I'm going with Nara with the hero, because the hero has the heal us all spell, where Christo has the heal us spell. So Nara doesn't have a full party type heal. So this way, no matter who I have, you know, if I sort of change the party out, I'm going to change out to Ragnar, Lena, Mara, and Christo, I'll still have a full party heal, no matter who I have in the party, so there we got lucky. Christo managed to use that Chaos spell on the Guardian A there. As you can see, they attacked twice, so he defeated his buddy, and then he hurt himself there, so another thing you can do is, like, so you can release that gas breath, which hurts everybody in your party. So you'll see right now, the way I'm doing this is I'm taking out 3 of the barriers, but after each barrier, if you want to, you can warp back to the last refuge and heal up at any time. So yeah, there's no limit to how many times you can go back there, talk with the Zenithian spirit who resides there, and get returned back to full health. So if you find yourself really underleveled here, you know, it's a good place to grind, because there's that free place you can just heal up your hit points and MP. So just keep wandering around here. Unfortunately, there's some swamp tiles here that are taking off a little bit of damage, but not too bad. So here's another guy, Swinger, hits hard, but they can be confused as well. So Gray's using the confusion spell, and whenever you basically confuse them, you've basically taken them out of the battle, because they'll just attack themselves or their friend. So confusion, a very evil status. So that's that one no mask. Even though it has like the best defensive power in the game, you never really use it because it makes you confused. I guess if you're just going for like a single character thing, then I guess it would be okay to use, because you'd be confused with it. You wouldn't have any allies to attack. So I don't know if you can do this game solo. People have done Dragon Quest III solo, where, you know, they only played it with a solo hero. The big roadblocks in that one are Kandor, the second Kandor, and Baroness. They're like you gotta really grind to beat them up. So here's our third barrier here. Are you the ones who threatened Necrosaro's evolution? I'll send you to oblivion. We got like a palette swap of the Igorhorn monster. So. This guy, he always drops a Sword of Miracles, so it's 100% drop, so Ragnar will finally get a new sword. So now him, Tulum, and Christo all have a Sword of Miracles. So this guy's pretty tough. Attacks twice per turn, uses that things that makes you cower, so then you'll lose turns, which could really stink if your healer gets hit with it. He can cast the Exploded spell, which is the most powerful explosion-based spell. So, yeah, this guy's pretty tough. But I guess, like I said, you get a good prize off of him. So, unfortunately, you know, Bray seems to think that, hey, my chaos is working good on everybody else outside. Maybe it'll work on this guy, and it doesn't really help him out. So, yeah, the Highland Blaze is even worse than a regular Blaze. So, yeah, so if he used that Cower spell, you know, just cowered your healer, then you're really hurting. So, but we have the Heal Us All spell here from Cosmo. That'll bring everybody back up to full. So, lets us survive a little bit longer. Because Heal All wouldn't cover it. So, now it finally decides, after getting hit by that really bad barrier, that really bad spell, to cast the Barrier spell, which reduces damage from breath attacks and magic. So yeah, you see the Violent Blaze now is just basically doing like half damage for what it did. So too bad you can't, you know, have your characters use that, you know, control their characters. So I guess that would make the game like much easier if you control the AI. So the AI gets progressively better though, like it learns throughout the game. So once it sees that, like, you know, these spell effects won't, status effects won't work on bosses. They'll decide to stop using it. So, yeah, if I went through with like a party of the 4 mages, they become a much better effective fighting force, you know, as you're just using them because they start loading. But I wasn't doing that challenge here. Do good, I admit. Enjoy your moment of glory, but remember that every evolving Necrosaro will destroy you all. Ha ha ha. And got the 3rd shield down, but still there's going to be 2 shields in front of the barrier, because if they removed 3 of the shields, you'd be able to sneak around one of them and you wouldn't have to destroy all 4 barriers. So you'll notice that when I work back, because now I'm going to change my party up. Now that Ragnar has his like kind of final sword, we're just going to make some room for him here so we can equip it. So, Dress of Radiance, that can be an upgrade for the female characters, Alina, Mara, and Nara. But like I said, it reflects spells, but that also reflects back healing spells. So let's equip that Sword of Miracles there. Strong sword, and it recovers 25% of the damage that you do to a character. So, as long as the hit doesn't defeat them. So, we'll stop here real quick, heal up, and then we'll make that switch to our party. This is the final refuge. I'm waiting for Necrosaro has barriers around his castle. His evolution is in progress. Break the barriers first. Best luck to Cosmo and his companions. So, just save our game just to be safe. Step out, switch our party around, put those other characters in. So everyone's getting a chance except for Doran there. So, yeah, we'll keep Christo out. So, yeah, see the 2 little barriers still there. So that way Doran doesn't feel bad. We want to have Mara for this tower in particular. Because she's the only one who has the Step Guard spell. And we're going to need the Step Guard spell because there's some hazards in this tower, in this area. And there's a swamp outside. And this is where we're going to get the another tiny metal. So you just cast Step Guard here so you can walk through this big swamp area. And the final swamp tile here in the corner there, search it, and you'll get the tiny metal. So Mara's good for this one because she has the Step Guard spell. That's why I used Brave for those other towers. And for, you know, crowd control, fighting the monsters that wandered around here. So this one's really weird. You have to go down this thing, but you end up in a dead end. What I have to do is just climb back up, and now you can go down. There we go. And we have these like clay monsters here. If you talk with them, they say you can't proceed any further and they kick you out. So you gotta find a way to sneak past them. They kind of mirror your movement, so we move left, they'll move left. So we go down, trap 3 of them between those blocks, and then we can sneak past them. So Step Guard there, and we step in there. We want to heal ourselves up here. Good thing even though Crystal can't participate in battle, we can use his heal us spell to bring us back to full. I commend you for coming this far. I'll give you a reward. Check the floor behind you. You shouldn't turn your back on an enemy, you fool. And you turn around and then he gets to a fight with you. Luckily he doesn't like ambush you. Apparently in the remake, they give him a free ambush turn because you turned your back on him. But this guy can be tough. He can cast the defensive spell, which lowers your defense. And then he hits really, really hard. So he attacks twice around, and as you see, he's taking off a lot of hit points, even without that defensive spell. So Alina tried to use the Sphere of Silence to prevent him from using that that defensive spell, but unfortunately it didn't work. It's not working really good on him. So, and he has high defense too, which stinks when he uses the guard command, because he'll still get to attack once, but he'll get the defensive bonus for using the guard command, which cuts damage by more than half. So, he has strong defense as is. Even using the Sword of Decimation to cast Sap on him twice, we're still not doing a whole bunch of damage to him. We're mainly relying on hopefully critical hits to deal a bunch of damage. And Mara, of course, is doing good damage because He has good physical defense, but not necessarily spell resistance, so... Blaze no spell did a lot of good damage there, so... She's pretty good for bosses, like I said. Bray's good for bosses when he uses the by-kill spell on your physical attackers, so that has defeated all 4 of the minions of Necrosaro. So, now we can just warp back to the final refuge. You'll notice that now all those barriers in front of the Necrosaro's castle are gone. So we can actually proceed to go into his palace. But we'll find out that Necrosaro isn't there. It's the last dungeon in the game, but Necrosaro's actually beyond there. So I won't spoil it, but make sure before you go into that final palace, the Necrosaro's palace, that you have the Baron's Horn from Goth's side. So as you can see, the barriers are all gone. Because once you get out of there, you'll be in another area, and you can use the Baron's Horn to summon the wagon. Because the wagon ain't gonna go with you. Just like in these towers here, where the minions were, the wagon doesn't come with you. So if you don't have the Baron's Horn to summon the wagon after you defeat Necrosaro's palace there, you'll only have the party you take into the palace to fight Necrosaro at the end. So, well, we'll go into Necrosaro's palace in the next episode. Take care, have a good one, see you then. Bye.